Hello, cheers, and welcome, G, to this episode of Filmi Ladies. We are Pithu and Beth, and we want to invite you on a cruise to celebrate our existence. And there will be a lot of celebration. There will be some crazy people joining us. There will be some fun people joining us. The one common factor that our entire guest list has today is that they are all extremely dysfunctional, with the exception of Beth and I, because we're just practically perfect in every way.
We are
Um,
we are Pluto the talking dog.
we are Pluto, the talking dog. And we're more dog-like than human anyway, Beth, so it makes sense. So the movie we're going to talk about today is Dil Dhadakne Do, which just celebrated its 10th anniversary, which is not super long in terms of anniversary episodes that we've done. But you know what? This is a really fun movie. It's very, very enjoyable. There is so much to talk about that I just felt like it deserved its own episode. And so, yeah. Beth, as far as Zoya Akhtar's movies are concerned, which I know both of us really like her films, where would you rank this in terms of how much you like her films?
Confusingly, I was not prepared for this question. So off the top of my head, I'm going to say top. Um, I think this is the third time I've watched this movie, maybe fourth,
Mm,
certainly third. And I just was so impressed with it all over again. It's gotten better each time I've watched it. Um, and it was already quite good in my estimation to start, and there's so much in here. There's a lot of little things. There are things that could have been done more simply or more cheaply or more
mm,
less thoughtfully, and they were done as well as they possibly could be, I think, which is
yeah.
I know a thing that we would say about probably some other Excel um productions, obviously, like I think Dil Dhadakne falls into that category as well.
Mm,
But this is truly a remarkable film. I know the actors, you know, they are Nepo kids. They do have a lot of resources that other people don't have. And here is an example of one of them making extremely good use of those resources.
yes.
Create a film that, to me, I think probably I would categorize as, I mean, it's only been 10 years, but timeless
Yeah.
and rich and full of commentary, a little judgment, but not a ton, and just so juicy, so much to talk about with it. So I was really glad to watch this again, and I was even more glad after I rewatched it than I was going in. Like, after I finished it, I was like, yeah, I'm so happy to spend time with this film again and to spend some time talking about it again.
Yeah. Every time I see this film, and like you, I think this is my third time watching it as well, because it's a very watchable film. And for a movie that has so much drama in it and has so many heightened emotions in it, it's strangely pleasant. Like it's
Uh-huh.
not particularly like emotionally taxing to me, even though the characters themselves are like having like mini aneurysms over stuff, which I think is a really difficult thing to do. But yeah, I really enjoy this film, and I tend to like Zoe Akhtar's movies in general. Like I really like Honeymoon Travels Private Limited, which I know we're going to talk about at some point. I love Gully Boy, and I really like this one. There's something a little bit tabloid-esque about it, but I like it. And there's something very juicy, like you said. It always reminds me of that F. Scott Fitzgerald quote when he said, "Let me tell you something about the rich. They're not like you and me." Um, and I always think of that quote when I watch this
Same.
film, because they just have such a different lifestyle. Just the notion that you're going to celebrate your 30th wedding anniversary by going on a cruise to like Turkey and Greece, and you're inviting all of these people and paying for them.
I started trying to count at one point how many people they had invited, and
Yeah,
I mean, it's 15 at least.
20 maybe, based on that
Yeah.
Galla Gudiya
Little
song.
kids and stuff like,
Yeah, because they charter it. And wasn't there that one scene where Anil Kapoor, like he's like, oh, good, that person is not coming, and I think he said 8,000 euro bach gaye. Like I think it's
yeah.
like per head 8,000 or something, because I think the thing is like chartered for them, right?
Well, there's other people on the ship. So
Okay.
it's not just them. No, there's definitely lots of other passengers, but
Hmm.
Yeah, I can eat, I mean, 8,000 euros. And I assume that's not including like all the things they buy on the mainland when
Oh
they
yeah,
and stuff like that. But yeah, just the passage, I can see it would have to
yeah.
cost that much
And
for.
the way that those people are adding to the bill, like there's that one scene where he's so irritated with the one guest, where he says she's just ordering a crate of champagne like every day, and like just the bill alone. So that means it's also like this ongoing like food and drink costs that these people are like living large off of them. And I love the fact, I just find it so funny that they're celebrating that 30th wedding anniversary in such a lavish way, and it's all like, oh my god, we're so in love, we're so successful, and they loathe each other.
Yeah, that I mean, that was one of the things that struck me the most this time, and I'm sure it had before as well, but the hypocrisy of these
Yeah,
people is I mean the two adult, actually all of the adult
yeah.
generation, the oldest generation here is a deeply hypocritical set of people. And I was trying to decide if I think that that is a factor of their
Hmm.
class. And I can, maybe it's magnified by their economic class, but we all know people like this who lie
Yeah,
all the time, and social media obviously makes it even easier and worse. So I don't, they maybe feel that the risk to themselves is higher. I mean, they clearly feel that the risk, she in particular, Shefali Shah's character clearly feels that to show any kind of crack in the veneer is extremely dangerous. Meanwhile, the economic realities are already very dangerous, and
hmm,
that has to do with people hiding things and whatever. So I, but she doesn't know that. So yeah,
right.
it's really interesting. They're just such a, and one of my favorite scenes on this rewatch was when they're talking about how important keeping a marriage together is, and Ranveer Singh is like, y'all, like, take a look at yourself. He doesn't, I forget what he says exactly, but you're just like,
Right.
I love that this younger generation is willing to call them on it eventually.
Yeah. And it's interesting because like I feel like this movie is a good advertisement for not getting married at all if you're gonna want to get married for the wrong reasons. Like I don't think anyone is gonna watch this movie and be like, "Oh, I have such stars in my eyes. I can't wait to be married," because apparently this is what happens
Right.
after 30 years of marriage. If every marriage is seen as like a business proposition and a way to get ahead. And you see that that's the way they think, like with the way they're trying to finagle the younger generation together. It's all about like deal making,
Yeah.
which is ironic because the way they've shown it is that Anil Kapoor is presumably a rags to riches story, and Shefali ran away from home at age 18 to marry him. So it's not like they come from wealth, and it's not like they were put together by their rich parents,
But
but
I assume
they're
it's partly why clinging to this is so important to them, is because they know what
right.
it's like to live without it.
Hmm.
It's been a while. It's been at least 20 years, I think we can say, but at least while then, when he last drove a truck, as he reminds
Right.
me. But yeah, they know what life without money is like.
Yeah. And I feel like a lot of the people in this friend group that they have, from the way they speak and from their mannerisms and stuff, you can tell a lot of them are nouveau riche. I don't think there's anyone in this group that is actually like generationally wealthy. Maybe Rahul Bose's mom, I couldn't quite tell.
Yeah, good question.
Um,
Maybe.
she's the only one that I was like a little. I loved her hypochondria, by the way. Zarina Bhab is always fun to watch, and it's like I kept keeping track of like all the supposed diseases she has. Like she has vertigo, she has arthritis, she has all these different things going on, and she looks perfectly fine to me. But I guess when your life is perfect, seemingly perfect, you have to do
I
something or
just
say
love that
something for
whole,
attention.
I couldn't hold a champagne flute. I have arthritis, and
Yeah.
I I meant to look for this and I forgot. Like, is she holding things in other scenes? Like, is this just, what she says in that particular moment? Like, she's certainly happy to grab that butter knife.
Right. So, what would you say are like, say, top three or because there's so much to get into this, right? So what are some top three or four things about this film that you enjoy?
Um, so I walked out of this trying to think who, if I had to pick a favorite performance, I
Mm,
think it's Ranveer Singh.
okay.
I this is his this is very early in his
Yeah.
career. And I was just so impressed with him, and that he holds his own in these. so many scenes with people with way more experience than he has. And people talk about an actor inhabiting a character. This feels fully inhabited to me.
Yeah.
Um, I just, but I will also say, so I also want to call out, confusingly to me, Priyanka Chopra, I think is also
She's really
excellent
good too.
in this.
Yeah.
And in a way, they maybe have the harder things to do in the film, maybe because
Hmm.
but I could be talked out of that as well. I could be talked into like Anil Kapoor actually has the hardest role or whatever.
Right.
I don't know, but then like how can I not name Shafali Shah? Like
Yeah.
I don't know. Like there's just it's like okay, overall I want to say I feel like the good in each of the talent in everyone involved with this has been brought to the fore. This is another thing where
Yeah.
everyone knows what they're doing. Everyone's all the cliches like firing on all their cylinders and everything, right? Like I just feel that everyone brought an A game to
Yeah.
this, including the writing,
Hmm.
including the sets, including the costumes. The music is not my absolute favorite, but I think it works very, very well for the film, which
Right.
is all I require it to do. And that's no small thing, but I don't require that I need to like it outside of the film. Like I don't go and listen to these songs, but
Hmm.
in the film itself, like I think they're amazing. So yeah, it's very hard to untangle, but oh, yeah, I will also say I love that this film lets you sit with what's uncomfortable for a little bit.
Hmm.
Because those characters need to do that. And we are taken along with that at least for a little bit. And when we see Priyanka trying to decide whether she's going to say something to Farhan Akhtar about how she
Right.
feels about him, or um, maybe the hurt that she still has over their relationship breaking up years ago. Like you can see it on her face, and like we dwell there for a moment. And
Hmm.
I love the uncomfortableness, the discomfort in this film, because so many of those discomforts are things that I think most of us can relate to in some way,
Hmm.
right? Like I have not had to chase down a villain who imprisoned me and then like killed my husband and my three sons were scattered to the winds and now he's going around in a really evil office chair, you know. But I have had to deal with people I used
You
to.
have not been thrown to crocodiles?
No, no, there's no crocodiles where I live, unfortunately.
No.
So that, I have had to deal with people I used to be in love with. I have had to um, think about relatives doing things I wish they wouldn't.
Hmm.
I have had to watch someone who is incredibly talented not be given the opportunity that they so clearly deserve because of just blindness and foolishness, you know. So there's so much like relatable humanity in this.
Yeah. And I think that's also what makes some of these characters so sympathetic, right? Because I think when you see movies where everyone is rich, it's so easy sometimes to just kind of roll your eyes and be like, "Ugh, rich people problems, cry me a river. I'm
Sure.
so sorry for you." But this is one of those few movies where I actually do have sympathy for the rich people, because I feel like their problems are fairly universal.
These are not only rich people problems, these are problems of
Yeah,
humans. And the film clearly shows that being rich does not protect you from them at all.
right.
Um, and
If
like,
anything, maybe
not
it's
that his,
even a tiny bit harder because I don't know if these people have the muscle to be able to deal with it. Sometimes
no, they
when,
don't seem to, do they?
no, I mean, sometimes I actually feel like when bad things happen to people who are more middle class, they're able to actually get through it better
Yeah,
because
no
they've
practice.
had so much like
Yeah.
habit figuring stuff out for themselves. Whereas with rich people, there's this notion of, well, I can just pay my way through it. I can just buy this
And the
situation.
kids in particular, right? Because we get the sense that they have, at least as they've been old enough to really remember very much, they've had plenty.
Hmm.
Um,
And I also find it interesting, like the brother and the sister relationship. Like, there's a saying that even if it's two children and they've been raised by the same parent, they don't actually get the same childhood. And in their case, you can see, yes, they were both like financially privileged and everything, but he is so much more privileged than Priyanka's character is in so many ways, just due to sheer sexism. And of course, there's that scene where Anil Kapoor like yells at him, and he's basically like, you were born with a silver spoon in your mouth. If
Yeah.
you had to go get a job tomorrow, you wouldn't last 2 days because you haven't worked a day in your life. But then you also see Priyanka Chopra yell at him too, or she's kind of like, you're so stupid, like you don't even know, you just live in this little bubble. Because unlike him, while she does have the protective financial bubble, she still has had to, struggle because of how antiquated her parents' views are. And then she's married off to this terrible person with this terrible mother, where they also have very antiquated views. So she's had to just basically support herself. And the one person who could have maybe been supportive to her, kind to her, helpful to her is not in her life. So
I
I found that interesting too.
I love that scene where Shefali Shah, when they're finally getting to really talk about how she wants a divorce, and Shefali Shah just holds her hand.
Yeah.
I'm thinking how we talked about Monsoon Wedding fairly recently, and there's a scene in there where Nasiruddin Shah stands up for Shefali Shah's character,
Mm.
and I was like, oh, this is this person 20 years later, like paying
Yeah.
paying forward the parental to child. I believe
Yeah.
you, I hear you, I even if I don't fully understand, I support you.
Yeah.
Got you, and how that never becomes unimportant in a
Hmm.
family, or in any
But
kind of,
it's
not just a family.
it's also the turning point for me with Shafalisha's character, because that is, until then, I just think of her as such an atrocious mother. Like that scene,
He really is.
she's so horrible. I mean,
Yeah.
I fully understand and sympathize that she has a horrible husband, and that, like, he's an awful man, but she's a pretty terrible mother. Like when they're in that Turkish bath or whatever, and poor Priyanka Chopra is trying to tell her, the woman literally acts like having to have an emotional heart-to-heart conversation with her daughter and listening to her problems is inconvenient. I was like, this is your child.
Like I'm having my spa day. Could you not put
Yeah.
down? She has truly vacated a lot and
Yeah.
neglected her responsibilities to be a parent,
Hmm.
unless your one definition of being a parent is you provide materially.
Right.
So yes, she kind of stewards some of their material well-being, right? And she's obviously eager to do that because she wants to sell her shares of the company to buy back the plane. Although, does she really, or does she just want to stick it to her husband?
I
Like,
think she's, yeah.
say, but she has no interest in the person-to-person
No.
ness of being of having any kind of human relationship, let alone a parental one. This is another thing where we should point out here, neither of us have siblings, neither of us are parents. So, are there any only children in this film? I
Oh,
guess
Sunny, Farhan Akhtar.
Sunny is perhaps an only child.
And see, he's the loveliest person.
That's right. And he's the most well-adjusted of them all. Told you so. But
Pluto is also an only child. I mean, I'm telling you, Beth, we're the best.
this
Pluto, the dog.
the dog, as far as we know, or certainly was raised as one. Yeah.
Yes.
Um, yeah.
No, the parenting is terrible. And also, it's like you're willing to sell your shares so that your beloved, precious son can have his plane. I don't see you helping out your daughter when she wanted to start her company.
Do they know that she wanted to? I don't necessarily blame them. I mean, I blame them for that in that it probably meant they weren't paying attention. But
Mm,
she's gone to Mumbai. They live in
mm.
Delhi. Sh they
She
she,
probably doesn't even tell them about what her
that's what
plans
I'm thinking.
are.
They don't hear it anyway. So
Yeah. But
yeah,
theoretically,
they wouldn't have supported her anyway, I don't think.
no, but theoretically, I mean, put yourself in her shoes. And if you're like, I want to start a company, I want to do something of myself, I have all this business acumen, whatever. I don't want to just sit around having spa days, right? I need capital. I could go to a bank, I could sell my jewelry, which is a very, by the way, like, terrible thing to do in India. You do not sell jewelry, right? You just don't do it. It's completely unacceptable. Um, I would imagine you would at least have one phone conversation with your parents, or when you visit them, you would be like, yo, I want to do this, and then see what they say. I mean, selling the jewelry you inherited during your wedding or whatever is a pretty bold step. So, and they would find out eventually. I mean, imagine like you're going home for Diwali or something, and your parents are like, why aren't you wearing those diamond things we gave you? And you're like, oh, I sold them for my company.
I don't think these grown-ups would notice. I mean, I wonder if that's what she was. kind of gambling on, right? I mean, we never
Yeah.
hear any more about that other than that one statement that she sold her jewelry. But and I forget who
Yeah.
says it. Kabir says
Sunny, Farhan Akhtar says
Sunny
it
says it. That's right. So, and
because he's
interestingly,
the only person who's proud of her.
interesting that she didn't sell her jewelry to sort of run away from that marriage. She sold
Mm.
it for her business, which
She's a really interesting character. Like on the one hand, like, have you seen those quizzes that people do where they're like lawful evil, not lawful neutral, lawful
yeah.
good, or like whatever? She's literally like a lawful good person. She's
Mm.
probably one of the only decent human beings in this movie. Like you see her constantly taking care of those who are younger than her. You see her being so
Yeah, with the
nice and sisterly, yeah,
yeah,
with her cousins and the younger girls, which I thought was really sweet.
and her
Like
own
she's
brother.
always looking out, yeah, and her own brother, she's always like looking out for other people. Like there's a kindness and a sensitivity to her. She also like calls out her dad when she sees her dad speaking in like a really rude way to his brother, and she's like, why do you do this, why do you talk to like that? She also talks, she's one of the few people who don't come across as elitist. Like she's the only person apart from Ranveer Singh who speaks in a respectful way with Farah, the Anushka Sharma character. She's the only one who talks nicely with their manager. Like she truly does seem like a person who doesn't seem to have a lot of agendas, but she's also been a pawn. Like I almost feel like she's too nice to be in this family because she couldn't stand up for herself in a way.
I mean, that's that she's passive in a way,
Yeah.
but in another way, she's not, right? So
Yeah.
the what she did to start her own business is very not passive, and is okay. Technically, it's lawful by legal
Right.
standards, but by the system of her family, she is unlawful. She is
Right.
an
She's the rebel in a
she's a
way.
little bit of a chaotic. I mean,
Mm.
he's more chaotic, I think, but she's kind of like an unlawful.
But he's also allowed to be chaotic.
Right, right,
Like his chaos will just be like, ugh, boys being boys. What are you gonna do?
exactly.
Whereas the girl being chaotic is like this huge, like, I love that scene where they're doing what looks like a cooking class or something.
Yes.
And the aunties are just like, maneuvering marriages and stuff, which is such an auntie thing to do. And Priyanka Chopra comes out and she just like loses her shit with them. And then she's like, why don't you get a job? And then they're like, Pagal hai? Who will give us a job?
That and the butter knife are the two scenes from this movie that have stayed with me the most over the years.
Yeah.
Because I mean, let's talk about the aunties. They're kind of this like Greek chorus,
Yeah.
and it's such a gendered thing, but also
Hmm.
a human thing. Like
They're such mean
most
girls, Beth.
are, but also I think most humans like to gossip,
Oh, yes. Oh,
right?
I'm a gossip.
And
I love gossip.
it gets very much pegged as a woman thing, but it's not.
Yeah.
Because
No.
when men do it, you're like, oh, that's business, and you're like, and the way in the beginning that Shafali Shah lets Anil Kapoor think that the whole marriage idea is his, and you see
Mm.
like she's just cool as can be, like this is all her world, but she's letting
Hmm.
him think that he's making it happen, but it's actually her,
Hmm.
like I love how she's played him. I
Yeah.
love it. But these aunties, yeah, and I love that when we meet them the very first time, they're talking about her
Yeah.
and she waltzes in and then they all switch on the fake. But that feels very true, you know.
Hmm.
I don't belong in that social circle, obviously, but
Hmm.
I mean, I think most of us enjoy talking about other people, even if
Yeah.
it's with affection and interest and care, which I think
Hmm.
some of the time, some of what they're doing is not all the time
Right.
by any means, but they are
Yeah.
always talking about some kind of version of true in a way, right? And the men we see kind of blustering about, and we even get that voiceover from Pluto when he's treating it like, sort of a safari or whatever. Uh,
Yeah.
about the women as well that he talks about the safari. It's all of them. It's all of them, isn't it? But the older generation. But the men are like, talking about business, but not in any sort of creative way or whatever. The
Mm-mm.
there's like, we're losing an F ton of money, and Anil Kapoor is like, "Well,"
Yeah.
So there is something of substance about the aunties that I find really interesting and like their milieu and whatever, and then also how little control they clearly feel that they have in other ways. And of course, information is something they can control. So of course, again,
Hmm.
it's very human to try to control the thing that you can,
Yeah.
especially if you view it as being part of your survival.
It's so like frenemies and kind of country club set
Oh, yeah.
coded. Like it feels so toxic to me. It's like it's one thing to gossip and exchange information. What I don't like is how much they enjoy the meanness aspect of it. Like these are the kind of people that if you fall, they're gonna celebrate it. Like they want you to fall.
As are the
And I'm
men, right? Like when
yeah,
the
oh, they're
success,
terrible.
business failures happen, they gloat. But then, and yet at the same time, like her name's Indu, I think,
Mm,
who's actually the one who's like, who would give us a job? She's the one
yeah.
who performs at karaoke, and everyone
Hmm.
loves it. And they're
Yeah.
like genuinely complimenting her on something that it seems, has really enjoyed doing. And like, there's this
Hmm.
moment of genuine human connection and love among the generations about this kind of inconsequential thing, and yet
Yeah.
you can still find humanity there, which is really
Yeah.
sweet.
I find that whole world so like alien, but also I've seen it. So I don't know if this is like a generational thing or is it like an Indians who've grown up in India thing or what it is. I don't know, right? Because like I'm different from my parents, but like I've seen friendships like this when I was young and my mom was comfortable with friendships like this. Like my mom had friends that I knew she didn't like and I don't think they liked her and there were often these like undercurrents of tension between them and there was a lot of like passive aggressive stuff and like digs being made, but at the same time these were people that actually cared about each other. Like when one of the aunties that I thought my mom didn't like, when she was in Lagos General Hospital because she was sick, she had like some really bad food poisoning or something. My mom showed up at the hospital with like food for her and then my mom took care of her three children. Like her three kids came and stayed in our house and my mom got them ready for school and stuff,
Mm.
but because they lived in the same building as us. But it was, and I always found that really weird. And none of my friendships are like that. So I don't know if it's a generation thing, but like the minute I meet someone that I can just tell that they're pretending to like me, but they don't really and they're mean, I'm just like, yeah, this is not for me. And I'm like, bye. And I just like nope out of it. But I've seen these friendships and I know that they are a thing and it's just not a world that I can navigate.
I think you and I live in a world of so much more choice.
Mm,
These women do, in a weird way. Like, yes, they've got all the money they could possibly imagine,
yeah,
or certainly more than enough. And
right.
yet they clearly feel beholden to particular social structures, particular mores, even though none of them like it.
Yeah,
They will insist on propping up a thing that they know they don't like, and that probably at a deep level, even if they can't quite access it, they know is harmful.
yeah,
And they watch, like poor Nuri's parents, right?
yeah,
Clearly, they feel the sting of how people treat you when your daughter's no good fiance runs off. It's not Nuri's fault, and everybody
right,
knows that. And yet they are the ones who feel embarrassed.
right.
So we have this insistence on upholding, the patriarchy and all sorts of other things.
Yeah,
These are women who could be, for example, um, volunteering somewhere, maybe, or like literally
right.
thing that they wanted to do, and they don't seem to want to do anything really.
Yeah.
But
But Indu is also the one that when Ranveer Singh is praising her dancing and stuff in that Gala Gudiya song, and then she also says that, well, I would never do it if I was in Delhi. I'm only doing it here. What would people in Delhi say? And it's like, but if you like dancing, just do it. But
right,
she won't do it when
go
people of
go to
her,
another part of Delhi where nobody knows who you are.
right.
Delhi's a big place.
But I think you're right. I mean, I don't think I'd ever thought about it in that way, but I do think that probably our generation just had so much more independence and we just weren't trapped in the same way that perhaps our parents' generations were. Like, I guess when I think about it, like on the one hand, I would judge some of the friendships my mom had. My dad didn't have friendships like that. My mom did. But at
Right.
the same time, my mom was, living in a country, in a continent completely
Right.
different from where she was raised, and she needed her friends. My mom actually once said to me, because I'm very ruthless about cutting people off if they're disrespectful to me, and I'm like, no, you just violated my boundaries for the third time, you're you're
Mhm.
you're gone. And my mom once said to me, you're so ruthless about it. And I said, why would I tolerate bullshit behavior from people? And my mom said, where we lived, we didn't have that option.
Yeah.
Right, like it's the same thing. It's like when she's taking care of her frenemy in the hospital and taking in her three children and getting them ready for school in the morning with me, who else does that woman have? Her family is back in India,
Right.
and hopefully the assumption is that when my mom is sick, that lady is going to help her out too, whereas with us, maybe, okay, you're helping me see this from a different perspective.
I think, and I feel sorry for them, and I don't at the same time, right?
Right.
And I think this film presents so much that you can kind of chew on that and react in different ways. Because I also,
Yeah.
Anil Kapoor is certainly the person for whom I feel the least sorry in this movie by a long, long shot. I even feel more sorry for Rahul Bose, and I do want than Anil Kapoor, because he has a, this may not be quite the right word, but like a ruthlessness that is
Oh,
just
he does.
awful. He's awful. He's so mean to his wife about a thing that he knows she feels bad about. He knows she feels self-conscious about her weight. And obviously, when you're like, when you look at Shefali
Yeah.
Shah, you're just like, and like,
Yeah.
she's not a stick figure, but like none of
And
the,
he makes those comments in front of people too. And I was like, man, you're so rude. You're
in
so
front of their
mean.
staff, in front,
Yeah.
just, and he's just determined to ruin her day and her joy every chance he gets. He hates his wife.
He does.
This might be my one issue with this movie. They do have a scene at the end, obviously, where he asks her for forgiveness. It's become clear that he's cheated on her multiple times.
Yeah. And everyone knows it. That's the
And
best
he's
part.
been doing in that scene, he's done an okay version of I'm sorry as an act. Doesn't feel genuine to me at all.
Right.
This is going to last them a couple months maybe, and I
Yeah.
and I I appreciate that the movie stops where it does, because I don't think that this is healing this family in any kind of long
Mm-mm.
way. I think the kids may have gotten enough, what's it called, escape velocity, when you can like burst out of an orbit or whatever, you finally get enough oomph to leave an orbit.
Right.
I have that because I do believe that Priyanka will go through with her divorce.
Right.
I do believe that Ranveer is going to try to make a go of it with Anushka Sharma's character, wherever that may be. I don't really care what happens to their company, but hopefully Priyanka is going to run it and help it
Yeah.
better, But that dad, he's a bad human. And even if he
Yeah.
didn't start out that way, he has let himself become that way, and he's wretched. He's a wretched man.
Yeah. I do think I have some sympathy for him though, because I feel like he probably, there's just so much bravado he has, and
Yeah.
he has to put up all of these like, for example, the fact that it's alluded to, the fact that he's like a rags to riches, he keeps talking about the fact that he's a self-made man. I mean, in Delhi society, if his friends and peers, like Lalit Sood, which is Parmeet Sethi's character, he's the one that gives off like more of an old money vibe, and it probably has his nose up in the air because of it. I mean, in Delhi society, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if two people have the same net worth. What matters is how they got it. And if you're nouveau riche, you're nouveau riche. And if you're old money, you're old money, and they will never let you forget it, right? So he probably knows that no matter how much money he accumulates, he will never be them. It's hilarious to me because it is exactly how the Kapoors are treated in Bollywood, right? Like Anil Kapoor's family is related to Raj Kapoor's family, but they will be never be those Kapoors. It doesn't matter how much Anil Kapoor achieves. Even with his achievement, Rajiv Kapoor, who is probably the least successful of, he's still a Kapoor. So I kind of see where it's coming from. I don't condone it, but I think he probably has to have this ruthlessness and this bluster about him because he knows people are cheering for him to fall, and he probably knows that they care as little about him as he does. So it's kind of like doggy dog world. It's terrible, but I think
But he's
he,
allowed it to consume his life.
oh, for sure, it's completely, he's a miserable person.
Miserable.
um there was just one scene where I was really rooting for him, which is when he grabs Rahul Bose by the scruff of his neck, because somebody needed to do that to Rahul Bose's character, and I was glad that he did it. Now, did Anil Kapoor's character do that due to his inherent love for his daughter? Hopefully, maybe. I think he did it more because his pride was wounded. Like, how dare you get your hands on my
I
daughter?
don't. Mhm.
Right. It's not her as an individual, but for whatever the reasons he did it, I appreciate that he put that man in his place, because Rahul Bose's character is such a nasty little weasel.
Isn't he good in this?
He is so, when Rahul Bose is evil, I hate him so much, like Bulbul,
Yeah.
this movie, but he's so
He's
good at what
very
he
good.
does. I
Yeah.
wanted to feed him to the sharks.
He's an actor that every time I see him, I'm like, yeah, I really like you, isn't it?
Yeah.
They do.
He plays sinister so well, he plays menacing so well, and there's like I think what makes him so good in this movie is that he's such a weasel, and we've all met men like him. He's so smug. I just want to wipe the smugness
From the
off his
get-go, but then
face.
also the increasing reveal of how awful he is,
Yes.
very well handled. Sorry for all the commotion off screen here. I seem to be
Oh,
spilling my glass of water every time I pick it up. So sorry about that. Um, the yeah, he's just so gross. So no, I shouldn't say gross. So he's a bad human too.
yeah.
But now he's old enough to know better, and he's from a young enough generation that at least some other kinds of messaging were available to him. But
Right.
you take one look at how his mom is, and you're like, well,
Yeah. She probably has coddled him his whole life. And I get the impression that they're old money.
yeah,
And she's also presumably become a widow at a much younger age. So he probably had to take on the family's mantle and everything. And so he has his own baggage as well.
yes,
I also feel like his marriage with Priyanka Chopra's character is so dysfunctional. Like, I understand that she's miserable and everything, but to me, it does come across as unethical. The fact that he's under the impression that they're trying to get pregnant and she's on the pill.
it
I
is.
was like, you couldn't just tell him you don't want to get pregnant right now. I mean, I can see why she didn't want to tell him, but I also can understand why he was upset about
Oh
it
yeah.
because,
Oh yeah. I think he's
yeah,
justifiably upset, and I think she's justified in what she did.
yeah,
Because it's just such a horror. And if she, as the movie goes on and we understand towards the end, maybe she's physically afraid of him.
it's possible.
Maybe she's afraid for her physical safety, in which case, do what you got to do. And
Yeah.
that I think that was something I hadn't really thought about too much before, I don't think. And on this rewatch, because there's that scene where they're playing squash or whatever,
Mm,
they're playing pickleball, squash, whatever.
not sure.
He just beams that
Oh,
ball
yeah.
multiple
Squash.
times. And you can see on his face that he is shocked that she is physically, through a surrogate, assaulting him.
Mm-hmm.
He's so stunned that she has this power and is directing it at him. And I didn't stop to think like where in their arc that falls exactly, but I bet he turns even, although he's getting increasingly worse throughout it, but like
Yeah, he is.
that's I think a key moment where he has been destabilized at that point.
Right.
That probably makes him act out even worse,
Yeah. I
but
also wonder, I mean, I can't believe I am even saying one thing in defense of this horrible character, but I also wonder if some of his anger with her or some of his mom and his disapproval of Priyanka Chopra's character is because they thought everybody knew the rules of the game, right? Like the rules
oh
of the
yeah,
game are this is a business transaction.
yeah.
This is two families. What does Anil Kapoor say? Why do you need to be compatible? You're both rich, you're both Punjabi, you both play squash. I was like, yeah, yes, this is how people fall in love. You are correct. And uh, so I think he believes and his mom believes that this is a business transaction. We're going to get married and we're going to start a dynasty or whatever. And that is presumably what Priyanka Chopra agreed to when she married him, because she certainly didn't marry him for love.
I mean,
And now she's,
he told him, what freedom did she have to say no, right? Like
yeah,
it feels compromised, even if it's not
yeah,
consistent, it feels heavily compromised.
yeah. Oh, I hate that dialogue when Zarina Wahab, it is so believable when Zarina Wahab says, do you know how many years we've invested in you? And I was like, oh, good golly.
Yeah. Yeah, it's wild that that relationship is. And when he's I don't want to say I have sympathy for Mama's boy of the scale that he is. And yet when you see him kind of like turn to his mummy and cry, you're like, I mean, he has no other coping mechanisms because he's not
No.
an emotionally mature person. And again, he's probably never had to be. Like most of
Yeah.
the men in this film have never been checked about anything.
No. But it's so funny. I mean, I feel like Zoe Akhtar does this really well, where she will show you like rich people and shed a light on their problems, and she'll get me to actually care about them, which is very unusual. The only other series I know that does that so well is the White Lotus series, because the White Lotus series just focuses on the ultra rich, and it's these resorts where all 3 seasons they're like set at like a 4 seasons basically, which is called the White Lotus, and they're like rich, like the 4 seasons Hawaii or somewhere that one of the White Lotus was shot, those are like $10,000 a night rooms starting.
Lord.
That's not even the price of the suite. So these are like rich people. And even in the White Lotus, I had that same icky feeling of like, why do I have sympathy for you? You're such a horrible human being. You treat everybody like trash. All you have is money and nothing else going for you. And yet here I am giving you my sympathy. What is wrong with me? But it's something that the White Lotus series does really well as well. And I think Zoya is one of the few people who can pull that off, because it's hard to do,
It is hard.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
How do we feel about Farhan Akhtar's character? Let me begin by saying that I am not a fan of Farhan Akhtar, the actor. I like Farhan Akhtar, the director. I don't like Farhan Akhtar, the actor, very much. And I absolutely despise Farhan Akhtar, the singer. I truly wish he would stop singing. He sounds like he has rocks in his throat. Um,
I mean, he's
but
on.
I thought he was decent.
Like, don't stop letting him sing.
Well, he wants to sing. He thinks he's a
Oh,
Renaissance man.
he's largely singing for himself, so like
Yes.
he'll be fine.
Yeah,
But yeah, he probably mostly sings for himself, doesn't
he
he?
does. I think so. Yeah.
There's that. But again, this is a nepo privilege that I feel like other people wouldn't get.
Yeah.
I yeah, I'm not as keen on him as an actor as I am as a director, but I think he's very good in this too.
Yeah.
A light touch and true to his name, he has a bit of a sunny kind of
Hmm.
presence. Now, some of it is a facade,
Hmm.
all of it. And the fact that he too is willing to challenge, the status quo a little bit. But he's also foreign returned, which probably makes it, I would imagine, makes it a little easier because he's
Hmm.
intimately part of this deli world, and he never was because he's the manager's son. He's not
Yeah.
a business owner's son. He's maybe not quite staff, but he's not quite, the upper levels. So he can kind of navigate in a different way. And people expect something a little different of him, I think.
Yeah. He'll always be the outsider.
Yeah, a little bit, a little
But
bit.
I love how when him and Priyanka Chopra have that big fight, like that was such a good fight that was coming, because you can see the tension between them, and they're really good at portraying that tension. Like I felt like they had really good chemistry, and every time I saw them together, there was like, oh God, there's a fight brewing. And then when the actual fight happened, it was very cathartic, but it was also shocking because like when he yells at her and he's basically like, I'm the manager's son,
Yeah,
like you don't seem to get it through your thick head that we're not in the same league. And do you know what people like? Basically he would be branded a gold digger,
yeah, your
and
parents
people
would
would say
never have approved.
they would never approve, they would call him a gold digger, they would trash his father's reputation, and he would never be accepted. There would always be these tongues wagging like, oh, he married the boss's daughter because money, and it would just be so horrible. But then she hits back at him by saying, what, you think my dad sent you to the US because like, oh, you were such a good student? No, he sent you to get you away from me. And you can see his face register that, because it never occurred to him.
Yeah.
Like that was, they didn't do that because you thought you were meritorious and you deserved an education at Yale, which is a private university, by the way, so they paid like big bucks for you. You weren't that good. They just sent you away because they wanted you away from your daughter, and that's got to hurt, right? Because I do think that the one foible he has is that he does have this ego where he thinks of himself as a little bit better than everyone else. And I'm like, I'm a journalist and I'm not like,
He writes like
you
real
lot.
news clearly because his
Yeah.
son's depressing. So
Yeah.
he's a hard-hitting journalist
Yeah.
who can
He's
see
the
that
guy.
in the cruise, but
Yeah. No, he's the guy that on Twitter in his bio he says feminist. He's that guy. He's definitely that guy who has his heart in the right place, but is very happy to virtue signal every chance he gets and loves to tell you how terrible you are. Like there's a holier than thou aspect to
yeah,
him. And when she pulls him down a peg by saying, no, you were just sent because you were inconvenient, you can see it just shatter him. But yeah, I loved that too. And I think Zoe Akhtar does that well as well, because in isn't it in Luck by Chance or something, where there's someone else who has this attitude of like, ugh, I'm better than everyone, and they're pegged down as well. But yeah, they're really good. What else did you feel about? So I know we talked about the performances. The writing is really good on this. The dialogues are really good. And I felt like the subtitles were really good too, because sometimes with subtitles, they'll just do like a literal translation. And especially if it's like a proverb or something, things just get lost. But in this one, because I watched it on Einthusen and I didn't have a way to switch the subtitles up, they were just there. And so when I saw the subtitles, I thought that which is something I've noticed with Excel Entertainment, they do like hire someone to actually write subtitles that make sense.
I feel like I read somewhere once that the Akhtar siblings write in English, which
Oh, I can believe it.
I don't know if that's true or always true, but that would certainly mean that perhaps they've got a tighter eye on English subtitles than other people.
Probably.
Some of
Yeah.
but well, and that I don't know. Yes, their dad may be this famous Hindi poet and everything, but like this is
Yeah.
our generation of hyper educated privileged kids. Like they do
Right.
in the world, I'm sure. Um, yeah, what else do I want to talk about? Let's talk about Anushka Sharma a little bit.
Oh yeah. Um I have never liked her as an actor. I find her deeply, deeply irritating.
Okay.
There's something about her persona that I find even more displeasing than Priyanka Chopra's. That's saying something. Having said that, I enjoyed her character.
Mhm.
I liked that her character was so like such a woman that was true to herself. I liked how courageous she was. As a woman, I was terrified for her because I can only imagine the level of sexual harassment she has to undergo every single day, just doing her job, just being a dancer, because there's people that think that she's just like, has no morals or whatever. I also feared for her when she told the story about how she ran away from home and spent days like couch surfing, and then on some days slept in park benches. And I was like, girl,
Oh God.
like that sounds terrible. I hope you were okay and bad things didn't happen to you. But let's be real, we live in a terrible world where terrible things do happen to women on a regular basis. So hopefully, not too many terrible things happen to her. But I really like that character. She lives life on her own terms. She's very unapologetic about it, and she has really good boundaries. I love the amount of respect she has for her job, and I love the fact that she puts Ranveer Singh's character in his place every time that he gate crashes her job, and she says, this is my job, this is my place of work. Clearly this boy has never worked a day in his life and does not understand that you don't just show up at people's workplaces, because to him she's just a dancer. And I love that she puts him in his place. Like, that boy needs a girl like him, like her, who is going to check him at every
Yeah.
opportunity. So
Yeah, I mostly agree. I just feel like I wish there had been another way for their romance to get going, because
mm.
if she fully respected herself as a professional, this relationship would not have happened at all.
Oh, right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
She does let him stay in the dressing room and ask her out, and she does go.
that's true.
But, like she does bring him back to her little room. Now, obviously, I'm
Hmm.
sure they feel that that's their only choice, but like this is, and she even talks about like she basically says this is a fling. This was a fling.
Yeah.
You
Hmm.
had to go and say that you love me, kind of deal, right? So like
Right.
I think I mean, it's a mainstream Hindi film. The heart wants what it wants. This is what's going to happen. But I
Yeah.
almost wish she had been like another passenger, or some things that they could have been on slightly more equal footing, and that he wasn't
Mhm.
repeatedly, but because he's sexually harassing her in the workplace is what he's
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
Like, this is not, this is played for, I don't think we're supposed to think it's cute exactly, but we're supposed
Mm-mm.
to think it's okay because,
Right.
he's a decent boy and
Right.
clearly is in love with her.
Right.
They do meet on even footing at the pool, and he does,
Hmm.
you know, she, he knows she's a No, he sees her in the pool before he sees her as a dancer.
Right.
So at least there's that. But I just he doesn't respect her boundaries, actually.
Mm-mm.
And, of course she loses her job. Of course she does.
Yeah.
Because that's always what happens, but we're led to believe, but it'll be okay because he's gonna break a million rules and go off on a lifeboat in the ocean, uh,
Yeah.
find her in Greece somewhere like meh. So I
Yeah.
don't even know if she wants him to find her.
So, first of all, it's clearly a fling. I have no hopes that these people are ever going to last together. And I have a suspicion that he's also using her as a pawn to get back at his parents because of
Consciously,
all,
probably, but
yeah, of all the young, hot, sexy girls that you could get to sleep with you because you're cute and you're charming and blah, blah, blah. And you look like Runway, you're saying this is the only person you can find. Of course, because it's a way to stick it to your parents, right? Um, I think he's using her and just like, and all of these people are manipulative, right? Like the little schemes that him and Vikrant Masi and then the
yeah.
Nuri character that come up with, it's just, I'm like, y'all are such children. Like I don't know who has the patience for this nonsense, but they clearly do because they spend all day hatching schemes together. But also it's like, I think she's just a scheme for him. What could be more entertaining and what could get you more attention from your parents except to bring home a girl who's a dancer and who's also Muslim? Like, you know so I hope for her sake that even if he tries to like find her in Greece or Turkey or whatever, I hope she gives him the cold shoulder and she's like, boy, you've messed with me enough, like I don't want to deal with you again. It's also that Veer Zara brand of love where you meet someone for 3 days and now suddenly you're gonna like give up everything for this person. Who are these people? How old are they? Because how long is the time span of this movie? Is it a week?
Like 2 weeks, yeah, at the most.
So how
It's
long has
10-day
he
cruise.
met this girl? Like maybe 7 days, 6 days or something? And he's gonna give up everything for her. Like this is the Veer Zara brand of stupidity, right? So yeah, I think he's just using her. It's a fling, and I hope she
But on
wisens
the
up to
other
it.
hand, yeah, and yes, it's a fling, and it's also true that they probably know each other better than Priyanka and Rahul did before they got
Oh
married.
yeah, this
So,
is true.
but that was parental approved, and this is not. So that's
Yeah. But also you're forgetting they're both rich Punjabis who play squash.
all right, right, all right. That clearly has been enough for them.
Yeah.
Gosh, is
Also,
probably not a tense place for them at all.
also, let me just say, why would you, as a dog person, marry a man who hates dogs and does not want you to bring them to your that should be an immediate no.
You
Like if
know.
you have to leave Pluto behind, that boy is not for you. Like him and his mother, these terrible people are just not for you. So many things wrong with that terrible marriage. Um, did you find the uncles really icky? I hated the way they kept like joking about their wives and stuff, but it's such a typical thing that that generation
I thought
does.
that was really well done. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love oh, the one who had the heart attack. The comic relief uncle. I thought he did
Yeah.
it. I know who that actor is. I can't believe I'm blanking on his name.
Manoj Pawa.
There you go. He's also his family tree is very interesting, by the way, if you're not
He's Seema Pawa's husband,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. So there's a lot
I
of
love Seema Pawa.
yeah. I thought he was especially good and I again just the right amount for me because all
Yeah.
like Punjabi comedy uncle like been there, done that. But
Yeah.
I thought he brings a nice like
He
um
brings a lightness.
yeah, and a little bit of a because he's so uncouth in a way, right? He brings a little bit of a destabilizing injection he injects a little bit of that into their world, which I like. Like he keeps
Yeah.
yes, he's probably as surface as everybody else in a way, but he's a little bit because he's more rough around the edges. He's
Mm.
kind of fun, I think.
Yeah. I love that his son is supposed to be Vikrant Masi, who looks absolutely nothing like him, by the way, but also he's so cute and he has the tiniest role ever. Like, this is the same Vikrant Masi I saw in 12th Fail and Death in the Gunge. And I was like, I'd forgotten he was in this
Fully
movie.
admit I've forgotten he was in this, and
Yeah.
it took me a second to place him because he just looks so young.
He's very baby in this.
Baby.
Yeah. I also have to say, I really like the costumes in this movie.
Yeah, I do too.
They're really good.
I I particularly like I mean the sort of like nautical inspired, a lot of navy, a lot of white, whatever. Like that was maybe a little bit too
Yeah. On the nose.
a little bit too on the nose, but I enjoyed it, and it kind of went with the bright sunny skies and the white of the ship and all that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
But then I enjoyed like the big sun hats and that the aunties are all in their like flowy,
Espadrilles.
yeah, and I love a palazzo pant, so a lot of that. But the daughter of one of the friends who is she's not goth, but she's like a little girl,
Yeah.
whatever. Like I enjoyed kind of what they were doing with her clothes, and that was just a little bit of a. That's not even a whole plot. I know she has a name. I can't remember what it is, but
Mm-mm.
that I kind of wanted a little bit more for her because I think that was a fun flavor to add. But yeah,
I loved the getting ready scenes where where Pluto was talking about how these people get dressed, and it's like the one mom, Nuri's mom, is like, because she's wearing a strapless dress, which was so cute, by the way, a red strapless dress, and she's like, "That's it? You're gonna go out wearing that? You need to wear a jacket. Where's your jacket?" And then cut to the other mom saying to the god girl, she's like, "Well, take your jacket off," and then she's like, "No." It's like everything you want to
about
do
like
is wrong.
what we cover up and what we reveal and all that kind of stuff is
Right.
really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it did just in general, the whole vacation, you know, obviously this is a horrible vacation in a way. Like not relaxing. But it did. I actually texted some friends after watching this and said, like, hey, do you guys want to try to go to California in the wintertime this year or something?
Yeah.
Like, let's go somewhere where we all live in like blue New
Hey.
York State. Like, it's cold, let's go somewhere else. It,
Yeah.
wormed its way into my plans. Not all the way to Turkey and Greece, sadly, but at least
Right.
that's
Hey,
what.
California is no less than Turkey and Greece. It's amazing. So
I
you
mean,
should visit.
fewer ancient ruins,
Yes.
more other things.
Yeah. I mean, this is the land of clueless, which we know we love. There's Alicia Silverstones everywhere, Beth. um, yeah. What are some other Zoe movies that you've seen? I know you like Honeymoon Travels Limited. I know you like Gully Boy.
In all of them, I'm looking at this. I haven't seen all of her shorts in the, those anthology films because I didn't watch Ghost Stories, for example, because I'm
Yeah.
afraid. I haven't seen all of her Made in Heaven work. I don't believe I would have. I saw the first season of that show, but not the second. But yeah, I mean, Archie's, I'm kind of, there are things I liked, there are things I didn't like. Gully Boy, I thought was great, but I have never rewatched it, I must say.
Hmm.
But I did really love it at the time. Although I did enjoy kind of the discourse around how can Zoya Akhtar make a movie about this? Like, what does she know? Like, does she have the kind of creative right to do this and that kind of thing? I thought that was really interesting. Those are good
Hmm.
questions, I think. Um, yeah, Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara, I think is the that and the Archies I'm the least excited about. And
Hmm.
yes, Katrina is a factor
Right.
in that. But Luck by Chance, I think, is great. Um, this is great. So,
Talash is good too.
but that's Rima Kugti.
It's yeah, I think it's Excel Entertainment and Rima Kakti. I wish I knew more about Rima Kakti. I feel like she's
Honeymoon
very.
Travels is also Rima Kugti. So
Which one was?
Honeymoon Travels is also
Yeah. Hmm. I mean, they were a writing duo,
yeah.
so
Yeah. I mean, and yes, she's a Nepo baby, but she is a woman director making some great
she's
stuff.
really good. Yeah. Zindagi Mein Lekin Dobara is such a funny movie to me because I've only seen it once,
Yeah.
and I enjoyed Hrithik Roshan very much in it because I just always love him, and I just thought he was amazing in it, and I loved his character, and I loved Mushi Mushi. But it's I don't understand the very polarizing opinions people have of it. I feel like, especially men, oh my God, you mentioned Zindagi Ne Milegi Dobara, and there's like the one cap that loves it, and it's their favorite. Sujoy loves it, for instance. Like, they love it, and it's amazing, and it's like they'll say it's like their generation's Dil Chahta Hai, whatever, which I love Dil Chahta Hai, not so much Zindagi Milegi Na Dobara. And then there's people that hate Zindagi. Yeah, so Vikas doesn't like it at all. And it's so funny to me that I have two friends where it's like Sujoy loves it, Vikas hates it. And I'm like, I just feel kind of like meh about it.
Right.
Like I think it's fine.
Yeah.
And I think that Hrithik Roshan is amazing in it. And I love the camaraderie between Farhan, Ritik, and Abhay Deol. And it's always fun to see Abhay Deol on screen because I feel like we don't get to see him as much. But whenever he's on screen, I always enjoy him very much. And I love the little inside jokes between the trio because the trio friendships are just so interesting. Um, but it's not like something I feel very strongly about. So at some point, I would love to have a male guest. Oh my God, we should have like a Godzilla versus Kong thing where we invite Sujoy and Vikas together and have them battle it out. We can just like eat popcorn while they yell at each other. Luck by Chance is really good too. That's a good one. It's
Concerned that
caustic.
we discussed Luck by Chance on this podcast, but we have not. So
Mm-mm.
yeah, that's obviously I think that's and very far up there in the, films about films. Obviously,
Yeah.
it's great.
I was reading about the casting of this movie because, okay, so by the way, this casting is amazing. I don't know how long it took for them to get the dates of all of these people because there's so many group scenes. So you have to have these people together on set at the same amount of time. And with how busy all of these people are, I don't know how they managed that, but good for us that they did. But I was reading about what the original casting was supposed to be and want to hear your thoughts about it. So the roles that were done, so Zoe Akhtar talked about how she basically thought of this as like a sibling story and built everything around it, which is also very interesting because she is a sibling of Farhan Akhtar, but they've also worked together, right? So that's got to be interesting. I hope at some point they collaborate and make a movie about like siblings who have a business together or something, and I feel like that would be so interesting to watch. So anyway, it was the casting the siblings was the most important thing, and the roles were initially supposed to be Ranbir Kapoor and Kareena Kapoor. And Bebo was very excited about the opportunity to act opposite her actual first cousin Ranbir because she has never actually acted with him. And obviously, she's never going to play like a romantic lead or anything like that. But she was very excited about it. And then, due to date issues, Ranbir Kapoor backed out of the film. And so, when he backed out, Bebo backed out as well, which I don't understand why she did that because I think Bebo would have been great in Priyanka's role.
I think so too.
Yeah. Um, Although I personally prefer Ranveer to Ranbir, so I'm happy that Ranveer Singh was.
I can't imagine. This is nothing against Ranbir Kapoor, who I do think is extremely good almost all the time.
Mhm.
He's perfect in this role. So I
Yeah,
really want to see anyone else. Although I do think Ranbir Kapoor could bring an interesting, like, I'm trapped in this gilded cage kind of vibe. This is knowledge that he has in a way.
yeah.
So that would be perhaps interesting, but not that we want to overanalyze real people based on their film choices or anything, but I'm sure he would have been good, but I'm very
Mhm.
happy with what they got. And I feel about Priyanka, I think the way you feel about Anushka, which is like I don't want to like her.
Yeah.
I can't explain why. And I think she has gotten better as she's gone along. So I don't know if I just saw really dud roles early on or something, but like the woman's done a lot of interesting stuff. Um,
Yeah.
and I often think she's quite good. Not that
Mhm.
I don't think other people could have also done a good job in what she's done, but like I do think Priyanka is actually quite good in a lot of things, especially in the kind of later years of her career, especially before she departed for our shores. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, I think she's really great in this. But Karina also would have been quite great in this, I'm sure.
Yeah. I would have loved to see
Had to tap
Bebo.
into the quiet stillness that we know she has, that we know she can bring, but that she doesn't always do. So that would have been
Mhm.
what's she
And
doing?
then they
Scene?
wanted Anil Kapoor from the get-go, but guess who they wanted to cast as his wife. So they offered the role to Sridevi, who declined, and then they also offered the role to Madhuri, who also declined, and then the role went to Shefali Shah, which I I cannot imagine either of those two doing what Shefali Shah did, especially in that cake eating scene. Like, I love Shefali Shah. I have never seen a Shefali Shah movie where, no matter how small or big her role is, that I have felt like she
Do
has
you
ever phoned it in.
do you think, okay, two-pronged question. Do you think Sridevi or Madhuri could have brought the right level of kind of what like parental neglect and iciness to this?
No.
And if they could, do you think audiences would have accepted it?
I don't think they
Sure,
would
audiences would
have.
have accepted it.
I also feel like they were too big to do the role. Not in the sense that I think that just because you were a gigantic superstar, you shouldn't do this role. Not in that sense, but in the sense that this movie is supposed to be an ensemble cast and everyone's supposed to be on fairly
Mhm.
even-ish footing. And I think Sridevi and Madhuri's stardom was just of a magnitude that it would just be weird. So because you can't take away from their superstardom, and so I just think it would be like a little bit weird. I also think that Sridevi's casting would have created a problem in the sense that she had never been able to shed her accent, and so they would have to do a thing about how she they would have to dub her, I think, or it would have to be like, well, she got married to him even though he's Punjabi and she's not, or something like that, and then that would have added like an interesting layer where it would have been like they don't accept her. I don't know. I just don't think either of them could have worked. You know who I think could have worked? Juhi Chawla.
Yeah.
Not that it was offered to her, but I think she would have worked.
Yeah.
And she can do that thing really well where she can do that passive aggressive nonsense where it's like she's thinking a thing and she's saying a thing and there's that artificialness. I mean, can't you just see Juhi Chawla just sinking her teeth into this and just being all like juicy and like wink wink about it? Um, I think she could be good. Although if someone was mean to Juhi Chawla, I would be very infuriated. So maybe it's just as well she wasn't in it. Like if like I just have a soft spot for her, and if like Anil Kapoor is like yelling at her and being mean about her, I would just be like, "Ugh." Not that I want him to be mean to Shafali. So I think that casting was a good one. But I just thought it was interesting that they had all these
Mhm.
different people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you read whether anyone else had been considered for Rahul Bose's role?
I did not read that. I think it was mainly just the two siblings and then the mom. It was basically just them. That was because I don't think anyone has that important a role. So yeah. Yeah. Okay. Did you have is there anyone in this ensemble that you would actually not mind going on a holiday with, or would you just push them all off the boat?
They're all horrible. And maybe some of the well, no, I think they're all horrible.
Okay.
Maybe the little like nerdy daughter.
Yeah.
I forget what her little nickname was, but when he takes her back.
Who basically has to be the only adult in charge when Anil Kapoor is having his like heart attack slash panic attack slash gas attack, whatever is happening to him.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe her.
Yeah. That
And she's
medical,
old enough now that I wouldn't have to really like act as an adult to
yeah.
go with her. So like she's probably would be fun.
Yeah, because at that time you would basically have to be like auntie duties.
Right.
But yeah, I love that medical office scene, by the way, where Anil Kapoor is like, "Oh, I was almost at death's door. Like, look at this terrible thing that happened to me." And his wife like almost beats him. She's like, "What happened to you? What about what I went through?" And then Ranveer Singh just like blows everything up. It was really good. I loved his role in this movie as the person that absolutely refuses to let these people get away with their bullshit.
He gets that chair and he drags it and like plonks it down in front of them and is like,
Yeah.
not moving.
Yeah. And you can see Priyanka Chopra's like, oh shit. And then she's like, well, he's gonna talk. So she just like sits on the ledge thingy and she's like, well, I might just I found their family meeting so interesting.
Yeah.
They were so interesting. Like we never had family meetings when I was growing up, but my aunt and uncle, who I'm very attached to, my mom's sister, my aunt and uncle and their two kids, my cousins, they had family meetings all the time. And because my cousin and I were very attached to each other, and we were basically always joined at the hip, we still are. I was often included in those family meetings, and I would just
Oh,
basically
interesting.
Oh, it was so interesting that because we would go on like vacations and stuff together, or if we were visiting them or something like that, and they would be like, time out, family meeting. And then they would have a family meeting, and I would just hang there. And it would be like watching a tennis match where my uncle says a thing, and then my auntie responds, and then my cousin says a thing. And I would just be like, this is very interesting. We don't do this.
Yeah, not like this. Yeah.
Did you have family meetings growing up?
No, but we also, I mean, my parents and I, so it's just me and my parents, we ate dinner together
Same.
every night. So
Yeah.
we didn't, it could just be then.
Yeah.
Like unless I was, unless they had an event at work or something, or I was at a friend's house or whatever, like we had dinner together almost every night. So
Yeah.
no.
No. But I love this family meeting thing. I want to know from our subscribers if they grew up in because it's a thing. Some families have these family meeting things where like the whole unit gets together and hashes stuff out. And it's just so weird to me. But like I love it. And I
That's
want to hear some
obviously
juicy stories.
the utility of it, because also if you're like, it's going to be about this thing,
Yeah.
like give people a chance to prepare and like it's like a work meeting.
Yeah.
Okay, I've read the document, I've had a chance to think about it. You know, here's what I would like to tweak or whatever. I can absolutely see, especially as kids get older and have
Yeah.
more informed opinions and stuff. Like,
Hmm.
yeah, I absolutely see how it's important. And if your schedules are really hectic, like we need to set a time to all be together.
Hmm. It sounds very grown up and very mature, and it sounds like something like a family therapist would advise you to do. So I'm very intrigued by it, and I have enjoyed the few times that I was allowed to be like the fly on the wall. But yeah, not really a thing that I've done like in my own home. Um, okay, did you have any other concluding thoughts about Dil Dhadakne Do,
We
or
haven't,
should we say alvida?
I just want to say we haven't talked about Shafali Shah specifically very much, but obviously she's freaking amazing in this role.
So good.
She's, I mean, again, every moment on her face, there's something, and if there's not a thing, that's on purpose too. And
Mm-hmm.
the 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 cruelty that she inflicts and that she suffers is really a sight to like if you made a cut of this movie that was just her scenes, gutting.
She's amazing. I know you haven't seen Jalsa yet, but as a Shafali like person, you have to watch it because Jalsa is basically just Shafali Shah and Vidya Balan primarily. It's just about the relationship between these two women, and she is magnificent. I mean, I love Vidya Balan, and Vidya Balan is also very, very good in Jalsa. But Shefali Shah is just, you can't take your eyes off her. She is such an amazing actress. And I feel like only in recent times are people starting to talk about her because she was never like a heroine. Um, but it's such a shame because the woman is just spectacular. She was so good in Darlings.
Yes, she sure was.
She was amazing in that. And I think the first Shefali Shah movie I ever saw where I thought of her as like, oh, this is this person was actually Satya, where she had a very small role. But she's like one of the she's the wife of one of the gangsters, and she's so good in such a small role as well in that one. So yeah, she's amazing. She has that same quality that Sri Devi has, where they both have these gigantic eyes.
Yeah.
They both have these really big, really round eyes, and they say so much with their eyes. She was so good in The Last Lear, remember?
Yeah.
I mean, there wasn't a lot about that movie that I liked, especially Amitabh Bachchan, but she was really good. Also, I'm very happy that the narrator was someone different.
Yeah.
It was Amir Khan.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
I If you are a Shafali fan as well, on our podcast we have talked about Darlings, The Last Lear, Monsoon Wedding.
Mhm.
This one. You've talked about Jalsa here and there over the
Yeah.
episodes, I believe. Are there any other Did you watch a TV series she was in?
Yeah, so she started out as a TV star, and that's actually so her name used to be Shefali Chaya because she was married to this actor called Harsh Chaya. And so they used to come in a TV show in India, like on DD Metro or something, back when I lived in India. And I never really followed it because it was like a daily soap. So, you mean, when you have college and stuff, you don't really have time to like sit and watch those things, right? So I'd seen her on and off. So, like, I knew who she was before she made the move to cinema. I think she also used to act in like Gujarati plays and stuff like that. But obviously I haven't seen, but like I knew her as a TV star. Same like Parmeet Sethi, Archana Puran Singh, like a lot of these people, Mandira Bedi, like they were like TV actors um, in like daily soaps before they made the leap to the big screen. And her and Harsh Chaya, her ex-husband, they were like a very appreciated TV couple or whatever. But yeah.
Just looking at her filmography, I haven't seen that many of her
Hmm.
films, but clearly I should.
There's a movie of hers called Three of Us, which I keep
I was
wanting to
just
see and I keep procrastinating.
I was just mouse overing on that one. I was like, I don't think I've heard of that because I'm not paying attention.
Yeah, that's the one Shefali Shah movie that I really want to watch. So maybe I'll get around to it at some point. But yeah, she's always a delight. And I think that
Oh, she's in Niyat that I keep meaning to watch and not watching.
oh, I don't know Niyat. I don't know this movie. Who's in it?
It's a mystery with Vidya Balan. You saw it, didn't you, with
Oh,
Roger and everything?
oh, yes, I saw it. I'd forgotten the name. Oh, it's terrible. Don't watch it though. It's not good. No, it's very bad. And Vidya Balan,
Someday, it's a
shockingly,
mystery, but I know it's bad.
well, shockingly, she's bad too, Vidya Balan. Which I didn't think was possible because, like, I love Vidya Balan. She has the worst haircut in this way. Like, it's clearly a wig. It's just not a good movie. And Ram Kapoor, oh my God, do not. He is such an avoider in this film. Like, he's clearly like Vijay Mallya coded. And Vijay Mallya is also such an extremely irritating and awful person. And then you add Ram Kapoor's annoyingness, and it's just an annoying fest. You should try watching it. I predict you won't get past 10-15 minutes.
Shefali Shah is in Mohabbatain.
Who is she in Mohabbatein? I don't remember her in Mohabbatein.
Nandini Khanna says
Who is Nandini Khanna in this movie? I have no idea.
no, but I'm not rewatching it to find out.
Huh. I don't remember her. I mean, it must have been like some really bit role. Like maybe she's like a
So Amrit
teacher or
Puri is
something.
someone named Major General Khanna. So is she his wife or his daughter or something?
Hmm.
I don't know. It doesn't matter.
I mean, the main thing I remember from Mohabbatein that really scarred me was Uday Chopra's extremely heavily oiled bare chest that he insists on flaunting throughout that film. So I'm glad those days are behind us.
Yes.
Um, I recently, speaking of Uday Chopra, I recently saw like a little clip of Tanisha Mukherjee. What an annoying woman. And she's talking about how films nowadays make no sense. And I was like, okay, Miss Neil and Nikki have several seats. I mean, I agree with her to the point that a lot of movies that are coming nowadays are horrible. And like, we're literally in September 2025, and I've not seen a single 2025 release. So that should tell you a lot. But also, you were in Neil and Nikki, and you were in some of the worst movies I've ever seen. So nobody wants to hear your opinion.
Yeah.
But yeah. So
People have spoken and you were not invited.
no. Okay, well, I think that concludes this episode of Filmy Ladies. Thank you for joining us on our voyage. We hope you had a good time, and tell us your travel stories. Tell us about your dysfunctional families. Tell us if you had family meetings, and say hello to your puppy dogs for us.
And tell us if we could have a Bollywood podcast cruise, where should we go? I mean, would you come and where should we go? Assuming that everybody can have their own room for their own little like quiet private space when needed. And would you participate in the one take dance number?
Yes, that would be amazing. All right, well, thank you for watching Filmy Ladies. Bye.